We're going to be talking a little bit about Lonzo Ball, and he's connected to the Detroit Pistons via a tweet from Mike Scotto. We're going to be talking about him. We're going to be talking a little bit about what Detroit could do at the deadline. Just a short little thing here to keep you up to date with what's going on there. Before we get into that, welcome back to the Ledgie Sports channel. I'm excited to announce that we're going to be doing some more projects going forward on this channel and other channels, so stay tuned for all of that. But getting right into it, there was this article. Yeah, that's not what should be up on the screen right now. There's no son of Michael Jordan arrested for DUI. No, we got into an ad right there. No, but with Lonzo Ball, he's received trade interest from several teams, including Memphis Grizzlies, Detroit Pistons, and Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, it's obvious that the Grizzlies and Timberwolves could use a little bit more facilitating on their contending status teams. The Detroit Pistons are the only team that's not a true contender out of those two. It pains me to say, but it's just not that time yet. And I mean, Lonzo Ball is still a good player. He's had a lot of those knee injuries, but I mean, that's something that you can get past, especially when you're a team that has the heliocentric Cade Cunningham. You don't need Lonzo Ball to be out there 30, 35 minutes a night. You don't want to risk that injury coming back. He's a guy who could play 20, 15 to 20 to maybe 25 on a good night. But he's kind of another facilitator that can help Cade. And we noticed that last game in the loss against the Hawks. I mean, Detroit wasn't playing their brand of defensive basketball. It was a high-scoring game. And if you're trying to outscore the Hawks with Trae Young, it's going to be tough. The last play of the game for Detroit, though, was Cade inbounding it and ended up being a lob to Tobias Harris that went out of bounds. I would have preferred for them to have another facilitator, so Cade at least was out there to draw a little bit more pressure. Maybe that would have led to Tobias maybe getting an open shot or maybe able to control the ball there. But this team just needs another facilitator. Marcus Sasser hasn't been cutting it. I mean, I love Sass, but he's not a young player. And a lot of people on Twitter keep going back to he's young, give him a little bit more time to develop. I mean, that time's kind of gone. He kind of almost is a finished product, I think, at this point. Barring anything unforeseen happening, I guess. But looking a little bit more into Lonzo Ball, a lot of his shots do come from three-point range, and I did make a tweet about that. I'm going to share this tab real quick. Through 29 games, Lonzo Ball has shot 82.9% of his field goals from beyond the three-point line. And he's shooting about 35% on those. So a majority of those threes are coming from the wing as well. There's a shot chart. 100 of the 155 total three-point attempts are coming from that wing, shooting 34%. I think that's a really good potential fit with Cade Cunningham. You don't need a guy who's going to create and break down and get to the rim and shoot floaters and do all that because you kind of already have that with Cade Cunningham. You need a guy that can come in, facilitate, and knock down shots, especially if they're playing together as well. And Lonzo Ball isn't the only option for the Detroit Pistons if they do need another point guard, another creator to help alongside Cade Cunningham or behind Cade Cunningham off the bench. Dennis Schroeder was announced to be available from the Golden State Warriors. I think the Pistons have about $14 million in cap space. Dennis Schroeder's 13.1 or 0.2 can slide right into there. But I think they're more looking for a contending piece, so it's going to aggregate from a bigger salary. There's also Trey Jones. There's a lot of different options for Detroit at this deadline, and I mean, we're only a couple days away, so we're going to have our answer really soon on who's going to be on the Detroit Pistons. If they don't use that $14 million in cap space, it's just gone. They just wasted it. So they're going to make some move. If they don't get a facilitator, they're probably just going to take on an unwanted salary, maybe a Pat Connaughton from the Bucks, get some second-round capital back. There was a report that you could get 3 or 4 second-round picks or a late first for Pat Connaughton just taking on that contract. That would be a good thing for Detroit, getting those assets so then you can then maybe get that 1B to pair with Cade with some of that draft capital. But yeah, trade deadline's coming up. Keep up with it on the Ledgie Sports channel. We have some new stuff coming out soon. Thanks.